Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Bringing Division video. What I guess today is something a little bit different. Today I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about some builds I do think are going to be very good in patch 1.8.3. If you guys don't know, on this Thursday, patch 1.8.3 is rolling out, which means the Striker gear set is getting a nerf. Now first of all, I do want to say I do think Striker is still going to be really good. It's probably not going to be the meta anymore, but it's still going to be very good. You're still going to have a lot of people running it in the Dark Zone, Skirmish, or Last Stand. So once again, if you do have a Striker build and you just got it, whatever the case is, keep in mind it's still going to be most likely good. I'm not really sure how good it's going to be, but it's still going to be usable in my opinion. But like I said, I did want to make a video and sit down and talk to you guys about some of the builds I do think are going to be much more viable in this next update. So if you are missing some gear pieces, if you don't have gear pieces at all, of the builds I'm going to show you guys, hopefully you have enough time to kind of catch up and get some of the gear pieces. So like I said, if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for my videos, and let's get right into this. Starting off, the first build I do have on my list is my Alpha Bridge, 5-piece Alpha Bridge, and a Savage Gloves build. This in my mind is going to be a very good build in 1.8.3. You can run this a bunch of different ways. I do see a lot of people running this with a 6-piece classified Alpha Bridge, but personally I like 5-piece a little bit more with Savage Gloves. I'm not sure why, just in my opinion this just works a little bit better for me. If you are a fan of the 6-piece, then go ahead, use this, and hopefully you do well in the next update. But first of all, for the weapon, I am using the house with Deadly, Unforgiving, Card Counter Talent, and I also have Responsive on this, thanks to my 4-piece Alpha Bridge that's on this build. For the secondary, I'm using a Navy MP5N. Honestly, I won't be really using or switching to this weapon at all, so really doesn't matter, but I do have Competent, Deadly, and Responsive on this as well. And then for the weapon mods on the house, I'm using everything with critical hit chance and critical hit damage, as you guys can see. As for the gear mods on this build, I am using 2 stamina and critical hit chance gear mods on my chest piece, and the rest of them are actually firearms and critical hit chance, because first of all, I do want a bit more critical hit chance on this, and then I also want a bit more stamina. Maybe if you are really good at playing with like really high firearms, maybe you can take this off and put on 2 more firearms and critical hit chance mods, but personally, I like using the 2 stamina ones. It just keeps me alive a little bit longer, and as I said, I kind of like this setup a bit more. Now for this video, I do want to do something a little bit different, so instead of skipping through all my gear pieces and showing you guys what I have on them, instead of doing that, I'm going to show you guys this, and this is pretty much a complete overview of all my gear, what I have rolled on them, and what you guys should be using on the gear pieces as well. So as you guys can see, on my chest piece, I am using Stamina with EDR, Health, Ammo Capacity. For the mask, we're using Firearms, Critical Hit Chance, Burn Resistance. For the knee pads, I'm using Firearms, Health, Damage Elites, Disrupt Resistance, and Burn Resistance. The only thing I'm really missing on this is Shock Resistance, but that is okay. Moving on, for the backpack, we have Stamina, Health, Ammo Capacity again. For my Savage Gloves, I'm using Firearms, SMG Damage, Critical Hit Chance, and Critical Hit Damage. And last but not least, for your holster, you always want Critical Hit Chance, at least on this build and how it's set up. The final part I do want to show you guys are my abilities and my talents. So as I said in the beginning of the video, I am using a booster shot for the extra damage and extra damage resilience. I'm also using Immune Station. Honestly, in 1.8.3, this is getting nerfed. You won't be able to kind of drop and pop it for the extra healing. But if you want to avoid being on fire, shock, disrupt resistance, whatever stuff like that, then the Immune Station is still going to be the way to go. If you don't want to use the Immune Station in 1.8.3, I would recommend using the Pulse. But once again, for that patch, I'm still going to be probably using the Immune Station 99% of the time. For the talents, I'm using Adrenaline, Critical Save, Strike Back, and Precision, a pretty simple setup I've been using forever. The next build I do want to show you guys is my 6-piece Classified Nomad build. In my opinion, this build is going to be even better in 1.8.3. Since the Striker nerf, this is going to be something you will see a lot more in PvP, especially like the 10k stamina kind of nomad build. I feel like that build is going to be really popular. So once again, if you want to use it like that, then you can 100% go ahead and use it like that. But for my build, I am using 7500 firearms and 5500 stamina. For the weapon, I'm actually using the house once again with the same exact rolls. I do have Deadly, Unforgiving, and then once again I have critical hit chance and critical hit damage on everything for the weapon mods. For the secondary, I'm using a lightweight M4 with predatory, vicious, and responsive, and honestly, this is just if someone's really far away or if I need to kill some NPCs, I pull this out and I also get predatory, which is kind of clutch if you are in a gunfight. As for the gear mods, I'm using everything with critical hit chance and firearms. Once again, I do have an SMG on this build, but I do want a bit more critical hit chance so I can do a bit more damage whenever I'm in those 1v1 gunfights, or if I'm just fighting a lot of players in the dark zone stuff, the critical hit chance really never hurts. As for the performance gear mods, I'm using everything with first aid self heals. Once again, I do have a booster shot on this build, so that's why I'm using it. Next up for the gear rolls, you guys can see what I have right now. So once again, this is pretty much my entire overview of this build. So for the chest piece, I'm using stamina, EDR, health, and increased kill XP. Unfortunately, I don't have a better minor attribute kind of chest, so I do have increased kill XP. But if you get anything better like ammo capacity, then definitely go with that. For the mask, we're using firearms, critical hit chance, burn resistance, pretty self-explanatory. For the knee pads, we have stamina, health, shock resistance, increased kill XP, and damage to leads. For the backpack, we have firearms, health, burn resistance. For the gloves, we have firearms, critical hit damage, SMG damage, critical hit chance, and then once again, you have critical hit chance again on your holster. So like I said, this is my version of the 6-piece classified nomad. Obviously, this is a build where I'm going to be using this when I'm solo. If you are playing with a party and you still want to use nomad, I would recommend using like a 5-piece with savage gloves or a 5-piece with a bear chest piece, because once again, the 6-piece bonus kind of talent is not going to work when you are in a group. So as I said, this is mainly for solo players. If you are just doing some challenges, or if you are doing some landmarks, whatever you're doing, this is the perfect build for the dark zone. Last but not least, for my abilities, I'm using a booster shot again with a immune station, recover link, and for the talents, I do have adrenaline, critical save, strike back, and precision on this build. The final build I do want to go over with you guys is my pred sheet type of build. Now in my opinion, this build is very good at the moment. If you play the dark zone, skirmish, last stand, you will most likely see this build here and there. But in 1.8.3, I do think this build is going to be even better. So as I said, if you want to try this out, this is a really good damage type of build. And it's really easy to make. You don't need a 6-piece, you don't need a 5-piece, and you can also make this with regular gear. Once again, it's not going to be as good as it is with classifieds. But if you are new, if you're returning, you can 100% make this build as long as you have the Ninja Bike backpack on your character. Now my setup is a 3-piece Predator's Mark with a 2-piece Banshee and a Ninja Bike backpack. This setup is a bit more for skirmish and last stand. That's why I'm using a 3-piece Pred for the extra bleed. Obviously with the Ninja Bike backpack, it unlocks the 4-piece. But if you are playing the dark zone, I would recommend using 3 pieces of Banshee and 2 pieces of Pred with the Ninja Bike backpack, so you can get a bit more damage towards the rogues, and just a bit more effective in the dark zone. In my opinion, is the 3-piece kind of setup with Banshee and 2 pieces of Pred. Now for the weapon, once again, I'm using the same exact thing, so I'm not really going to show you guys that anymore. And then for my weapon mods, or my gear mods, I'm using everything with critical hit chance and firearms again. Moving on to the gear pieces, so first of all, for my chest piece, I'm using stamina, health, EDR, ammo capacity. For the mask, we have a Banshee mask with firearms, critical hit chance, burn resistance. For the knee pads, we once again have another Banshee piece with firearms, health, disorient resistance, disrupt resistance, and shock resistance. For the backpack, we're using a Ninja Bike backpack with firearms, health, burn resistance. For the gloves, we have Predamark gloves with stamina, SMG damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. And then we have a Pred holster with critical hit chance once again. Like I said, if you are playing the dark zone, if you are playing skirmish, I would recommend kind of changing this build up and using 3 pieces of Banshee or 3 pieces of Pred, just really depending on what you play. Last but not least, I do want to show you guys my abilities, so nothing really changes. I'm using a booster shot again with a immune station, and for the talents, I'm using adrenaline, critical save, strike back, and precision, as I did before. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the video. As I said, these are the 3 builds I'll be using in 1.8.3. I do think there's going to be other builds as well in the game that are going to be really good. It may be like a 5-piece Banshee with savage gloves, or a 5-piece Banshee with, a bear chest piece and stuff like that. But these are the 3 builds I'm going to be using right off the bat. If anything changes, if any other build is like more superior than the other one, I'll 100% make a video on this as well and kind of keep you guys updated as the patch rolls out. But anyways, that's it for the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll respond to all my comments. But once again, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.